So this is a...
All right, so today is January 10th, 2021, and we're going to continue our discussion on the Desiderata Extinctionati. In light of this week's events in the United States, we're going to we're going to have a full discussion on what happened in the United States with the people, the Trump supporters breaching the Capitol. I'm sure you guys know what happened, but it was it shocked everyone, especially in America. We didn't expect it. I would say that the left didn't expect that to happen. I mean, didn't see it coming. But I'd like to know your perspectives, because it really was a shock for some people, maybe not for some.
Yeah, surprise here in Europe. People are just, well, I was in France a few days ago, and you know how they like to storm things, and
yes.
they were there like, oh yeah, they realized, the French people I was talking with were talking about the beginning of a civil war, and some other people were talking about it was manipulated. Some other people were talking about nuclear war. I mean, that's what I was hearing in Europe. But we're so far away from that sort of regime and here in Ireland, all they talk about is COVID. So I don't know. And Irish people worried about their families out there. That's all I can say, because I'm just watching.
I kind of feel it's been quiet today. Has anybody seen any recent news, like in the past, 8 hours?
No.
Hey, did everybody see Michael Moore's? Did everybody see Michael Moore's video?
Yeah, I mean, this Michael Moore seems to be operating at a rather superficial level in his commentary there. I was sort of surprised. It was sort of talking as though he takes the system seriously, that he believes that it really was a democracy in the first place anyway, and that all of the deceivers seem to me to be taking the conventional line on American society and going, it's been damaged. I would have thought he'd managed something a little bit better than that. It was disappointing, really.
I think he's got to be careful. I think everybody has to be careful now. So, guys, I'm going to have to go out on a limb and just put my credibility on the line here. But I'm really reading this very badly, very, very badly. And I don't think the rest of the world is getting it. So you get to see my predictive abilities, because I think this will this will basically unravel really quickly over the next week. So I'll give you my interpretation, and you'll rapidly see whether I'm full of shit or not, because this is where the rubber meets the road. And if it doesn't, then you can say, Hugh, you're full of shit, and we're not listening to your predictions anymore. But I believe that the mainstream media, and particularly the left, has fallen for its own bullshit. And I think we're in a very, very bad place. This is my read from South Africa. So just to tell you where I'm at, I was in Rome. Can everybody mute, please? So I was in Rome in 2017, after Trump was elected. And there were all these guys in a boat. They were all kind of Brahmins from Yale. They were all old guys, but real establishment types. And we had a chat about Trump, and they were worried, seriously worried. So when they left, they shit, I've got to hold this together. When they left for America, they sailed for America, they gave me this book and I said, I must read it. It's called On Tyranny. It's this guy called Timothy Snyder, and it says 20 lessons for the 20th century. So what this book was written for, it was written immediately, I think, before Trump took office, but they knew he was going to take office, and it was written about Trump and saying clearly that we would come to this day. I had my doubts about it, but I don't anymore. So the thing I must read you most is basically they put out, basically, let me tell you who this guy is. So Timothy Snyder is Levine Professor of History at Yale University, and he's the author of quite a few of these books, but a Jewish guy. And you can see where he's coming from because basically he's a member of the Committee of Conscience from United States Holocaust Memorial. So I think the big thing that happened on Wednesday, I'm here is where I start my interpretations. I don't interpret it as a riot or anything like the mainstream media is interpreting it. I think it was quite well orchestrated. In fact, very well orchestrated. It was actually quite a bit of theater. And the way I read it is it's a shot across the bows for Republicans. Basically, what Trump is doing is he's telling Republicans to fall in line. Okay, now, the chapter in this book says basically, number 6 says, like, be wary of paramilitaries. And it says basically, when men with guns have always claimed to be against the system, start wearing uniforms and marching with torches and pictures of a leader, the end is nigh. And then the guy who gave me this book underlined this, and it said, when the pro-leader, they call him the pro-leader, they don't name him. When the pro-leader, paramilitary, and the official police and military intermingle, the end has come. And he underlined that. So why I'm so emotional is because that's what happened on Wednesday. And I think people have missed it. See, the script is all wrong. I'm sorry, I'm doing a kind of Greta here, but what's supposed to happen after Wednesday is all the chiefs of police and the military are supposed to take the podium, calm the country down. There's supposed to be a massive soothing. It hasn't happened. All the indications as I see them is that the police and the military are inside. It's an inside job. It was done by Trump, and Trump has control of them. They basically, it is a military coup, and I didn't believe it until Wednesday, but Trump is actually backed by the military. So the QAnon stuff, all the conspiracy stuff has gone, it's gone too far, and the left has not taken it seriously enough. It's exactly as Michael Moore says it. It's basically the Capitol building is just bristling with crowd control things, and the military, basically they have all, like, I've seen fucking microwave heat weapons and shit like that, right? There's no way a crowd can storm the Capitol. The fact that it happened means that it was inside job, and it means that the security staff in the Capitol were in on it. So it is exactly as you say, basically, the end has come. So my interpretation now is that the Congress has only one thing. Well, the easiest thing for them to do and the most immediate thing for them to do is to ask Pence to invoke Article 25. He would just basically, it's very quick and easy. Basically, he could do it with a vote from the cabinet and he would supersede him. The fact that that hasn't happened is very alarming. It means probably that it's not going to happen. It means that Pence wouldn't do it. So Pence seems to be taking a middle line. He wouldn't go with Trump and actually, go against the count. So he punted that, but he must have also punted Pelosi, asking him to basically invoke Article 25. So what that means is Congress has to go to impeachment. It looks like that's the route they're taking. That's the only legal avenue they have. It means they'll quickly have to have a vote in Congress to impeach. If they only need a majority vote to get that, so that's doable quickly. What happens next is not quick, and then the impeachment would go to the Senate, and they would have a trial. To actually impeach Trump, you would have to get 2/3 of the Senate. So you'd have to have a trial and get 2/3. I really don't see this happening quickly, and I really don't see it happening before the 20th. So I think what's happening is the left and the mainstream media are getting into this. They're falling for their own bullshit because they're thinking we just have to get to the 20th and we'll be fine. And that's not my read at all. What I see is that the more they're going after Trump, the more they're pushing him out on the ledge. So the more he gets cornered, the more dangerous he is. Now, Wednesday was a clear breach because that's clearly treason. So you have a sitting president committing treason. So that's a kind of a Rubicon that Trump can't come back from. There really is nowhere else for him to go but forward. He's exactly in the position of Macbeth. It's basically, the quote in Macbeth where I'm so steeped in blood that as to return would be as tedious to go o'er, which means it means going back now would have as worse consequences than going forward. And that's where Trump is now. He can't come back after this. He has knowingly put himself in this position. Basically, he's burnt his bridges, and he's put himself and everyone with him on dead ground. It's a strategy from Lao Tzu and the Art of War. It's basically, if you put your people on dead ground, they will make a fantastic stand. And that's what he's done. He's done that to himself. And what I can see from the things that I've seen that have been televised of him, he's actually enjoying himself now. So he's getting to a place where he's really in a very, very bad place for a psychopath to be. He's getting a high and feeling more alive and more confident the more extreme the situation gets. Now, I get the impression that it's the complete opposite with Pelosi and, basically the politicians. They're running around like headless chickens and they are shit scared. So they're getting into a weaker and weaker position. I cannot see a scenario where Biden gets to the White House on the 20th.
So the military, so he has the military and the police. You think he's got them in his pocket, like that? Well, that they're not siding with Pence and.
Pence is sitting on the fence. Pence is trying to. My interpretation is Pence is sitting on the fence. So basically, there must be turmoil all over the Capitol and the Pentagon. There must be a divide. But what's stunning about Wednesday is that they had all the advanced knowledge. It means that now there is a deep state. Okay, so first of all you fucking leftist little shithead cunts that wouldn't even believe in conspiracy theory. There's a fucking conspiracy theory, and there's a fucking deep state. It's the right wing, you fucking idiots. So Let's call them the deep state. The deep state is not left-wing, liberal, blah, 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 deep state. Not that one. There is a deep state. It's the QAnon guys. It's all these guys that have been doing all of this shit for a long time. So let's just call it the fucking deep state, because the deep state is about to take power. The right-wing deep state exists. Every time I hear fucking liberals talk about conspiracy theory, I want to fucking bash their heads in, because it's always been a fucking conspiracy theory, you numbskull, dipshit, complacent idiots. The deep state is basically moving now. I didn't realize they were that strong. I talk to liberal guys. I have inside, or any contact I have of information and stuff are liberal guys.
Yeah, I have to agree here, because I think what's going on is the military-industrial complex is doing in the United States what it's done in other countries for hundreds of years now.
Yeah,
it's overthrowing the democracy and installing a fascist dictatorship.
Yeah. You see, this is what's happened is that the soldiers have come home. So America has been doing these kind of operations all over the world. And the reason why you don't do them is because eventually they do it to you. All those guys are well practiced at this game. You see, that, the guy with the horns and all of that, it's show business. They put that shit on. It's planned long in advance, and it's orchestrated to a level you wouldn't fucking believe. But this has always been done to foreign countries. Now, what happens if you do it once too many times in foreign countries, the guys get good at it. At some stage, they're going to do it on the home territory, and that's what's happening before our eyes. So I didn't realize that. I thought that basically there was an even split, and the good guys in the Pentagon and stuff have things under control and stuff. But you see, what has clearly happened is the FBI stood down. There've been something like 80 arrests. 80 arrests is a token arrest. It's so half-hearted that it essentially means that it's simply sending a signal to other paramilitaries that you can take to the streets with immunity. But the lack of response to Wednesday is a clear signal saying, come down to Washington. Basically, it's exactly as Moore says. So basically, on the 17th, guys, 17th of fucking January, as anybody fucking listen to this thing, 17th of fucking January, they are beginning an armed march on the Capitol. Okay. This is your last fucking chance. What's likely to happen, in my view, is that the House has to start a legal process. That legal process moves slowly. The paramilitaries and the deep state can move faster. So they will outpace them. What they're liable to do is to cause unrest. The unrest gives, and I know all the script from South Africa. This is a very old script. It's not even from South Africa. This script is as old as tyrants. Basically, that insurrection, this is out of Hitler's playbook. This is what Hitler did after the Reichstag fire. They cause mayhem this week that allows Trump to declare martial law. After martial law, that's it. That's game over for basically. I know liberals around here that are saying, like, can't wait until the 20th because then this will all be over and Trump will be frog marched out of the White House. I'm saying Trump does not look to me like he's going to be out of the White House. I would think it's far more likely that Biden gets arrested. If you gave me odds of, come the 21st, is it Trump arrested or Biden? I'd say, fuck, it's Biden. And the left is not getting it. Basically, the liberals are so comfortable and have their heads stuck so far up their ass that they're not seeing that basically it's Biden that's going to get arrested. See, what happens after Trump declares martial law is he has to have a crackdown. There has to be a night of the long night. And everybody that's on that list will have to basically go to bed tonight and think, where are you on Trump's list? But obviously the number one is like Hillary and Biden and all these guys, right? Biden's cabinet, all these guys he's put together, they're basically the top of Trump's hit list. He has to go and round them up. After you declare martial law, basically, he has two arrows in his quiver. COVID, he can declare lockdown. So he would declare lockdown, and basically he's in legally fantastic territory. This is a trifecta of basically defeat, because he can safely call a lockdown for health reasons, declare martial law because of insurrection and basically riots on the street, and then he can start arresting people, and no one can do anything about it. There'll be mayhem, basically, but it'll be too late. By the time, NFAC and BLM and anarchists and Antifa get on the streets, it's too late. Basically, these you see, get this. I've been telling everybody for fucking years, I'm trying to warn about this day, because you had a window where you could do all sorts of shit, but nobody did it because they were too fucking comfortable. Nobody heard, nobody listened to it. So when Trump declares martial law, there's going to be blood on the streets. I'll tell you why. Because they're not up to where we're at. The left thinks it's going to be Black Lives Matter, and it's going to be, we're going to take to the streets and protest. Not after martial law, you're not. After martial law, they're looking for an excuse to do Tiananmen Square. They're looking for blood. You think all these guys will go out, Michael Moore will go out and he'll say, but you must be peaceful and wear a mask and stuff. And basically, they don't realize they're walking into the machine guns. Once you've declared martial law, you have to have blood. Because otherwise, what happens next? Otherwise, basically, if you're emboldened, more and more people will come out into the streets. They're doing the exact thing now that the Democrats are fucking up. You see, because nobody's done effectively anything about Wednesday, it's a clear signal to every fucking paramilitary right-wing fuckhead in the country is you're safe to come out on the streets. That's why they did it. It's a test run for the real thing. And all these liberals and the mainstream media, they think, it's a riot on the Hill. It's not. It's a test run for the main fucking event, you stupid fuckheads. And because basically the FBI, all these guys, they haven't prosecuted anybody. 80 guys and stuff is a token thing. It's a signal, a loud signal saying, come on out, dudes. It's safe. Bring your weapons. And now, so imagine then now they all come out, right? The next thing that happens is it's no longer Occupy Wall Street and everybody sings Kumbaya and stuff, because they have to make sure that the left, anarchists and us, don't think it's safe to be out on the streets. They have to mow people down to get them back indoors. So they will, right? There's going to be blood. It has to be blood. This story always unfolds the same way because they have to get everybody scared and indoors. So what I'm saying is the left and all of us have lost. The window is closed on us to do all those nice, peaceful things, and we fucked it up trying to be fucking nice and peaceful and non-violent. That we're gonna get our comeuppance now, because now we didn't do enough in the window when we were privileged. So now, this rhetoric that the left is saying is they're completely misunderstanding the situation. They're saying that, again, they're saying it in terms of basically race and things like that. They're saying, well, this shows white privilege, because if you were black, you couldn't do that and basically march up the stairs of the Capitol. You fuckheads, you're not getting it. It's not because they're white. It's because the fucking military is compromised. It's because the security at the Capitol is compromised. It's not because of the color of your skin.
Yeah, I agree there. Like some of my liberal friends were thinking that the march on Washington was funny and all that. Oh, the white people are getting a taste of the place. It's like, no, dude, this is staged. This is fucking staged.
Yeah, it's staged.
Fuck.
So this is a fuck up of monumental proportions.
Is there anybody that you've heard saying the same thing as you, Hugh, out there that in the States or that you've heard around? Have you
I've been struggling to keep up with the news because it's coming so fast. But I'm basically, I'm alarmed at the fact that people are not seeing it this way. So you must balance the fact that maybe I've got totally unhinged on this score, and that I'm completely misreading the situation. But I'm telling you how I see it, and the reason why I'm so confident to come out is because it's a convergence of a lot of things. So basically, I saw this day come in, and for a long, long time, and it's basically converges on this. So if I'm going off half-cocked, then yeah, you'll soon find out. You'll find out this week if I'm going off half-cocked.
No, but I was saying that because I mean the sort of message that you're giving there is good to share and to broadcast. I mean, this is by any means, whether you're right or wrong. And I was just wondering if there was anybody or any echo or any platform or anything that has any little bit.
No, I'm stunned. I'm stunned to the point of a conspiracy. I mean, when I look at this, I think, fuck it, I've gone over the edge, because I'm looking at it and I think, no, surely this can't be that big a conspiracy. And what I mean is, I'm going on all these places looking for saying, surely guys are getting this. So I'm going on subs like our anarchism and stuff like that, and they're not getting it. They like fucking liberals. They're not anarchists. They're just clueless fucking snowflakes who would wear black, and they're not getting it. On our anarchism, they're saying the same shit as they're saying on any other sub or in any other forum where they liberal forum where they're saying, oh, you see, this wouldn't happen if they weren't white. See, this is why the country needs to change, because of white privilege and stuff. You snowflakes need to shut that shit up.
Yeah,
I mean, you're so out of touch. Yeah,
like I'm on several leftist, communist, and anarchist discords, and it's the same shit. Just the funny memes coming in about, oh, the white people marched on Washington. It's like, dude, no, oh my god, they just don't understand.
This is exactly where I'm at. It's basically it's horrendous. That basically they have so misinterpreted this. But you see, it's the reason why I say I get so conspiratorial is because I can't believe that the mainstream media is this fucking dumb. And when all these guys are out there, I know the thing, it says never attribute to malice something that can be put down to stupidity. So I'm saying, yeah, okay, I'll put it down to stupidity, but I really am challenged now with the FANG, basically all the social media companies and that. And they're shutting everybody down. They basically, they going through doing, Section 230s on all these guys, picking them out one by one around the world. I mean, I don't think XRMed is going to survive this. I don't think we're going to survive the week with this sub. We'll see how it goes. I mean, there's a lot of spam, and that's the reason for all the spam, guys. It's because this day is coming. Is some guy in Eglin Air Force Base is tasked with looking at places like XRMed, and then basically he looks at it and does a threat assessment. And I think we've done quite a good job of showing him that we're just a fucking bunch of idiots. He'll look at it, go say, "Well, these guys are crazy," and then say, "But harmless." Yeah. And I think that's basically where we're at. But what makes me really conspiratorial is if guys like Michael Moore and stuff, all the left-wing guys, it doesn't seem like they're being able to get the message out to rally, because basically there's such a prohibition against violence and stuff that you can't call out the counter-revolutionaries. It's impossible.
Well, it's that, and a lot of these people that are in the mainstream, that are on the left, don't have the radical analysis. They don't understand how the state works, how tyranny works, how power works, how psychopathy works. They don't have that deep intellectual understanding of what's going on, how this shit works.
Yeah, they don't understand that these things are all engineered. They can't believe that. They think everybody's nice, and there's no little man behind the curtain. And so then they can't see the little man at work. And they look at this and they look at it as if it's spontaneous. And they say, oh, these guys are a bunch of hooligans. Say, no, they're a bunch of actors. You've got to ask yourself who's directing them.
Yeah, it's like the man behind the curtain has a poker face in his cards. He's not going to play it until he knows he can win.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's disturbing from so. Okay, so I must read you at least one more page out of this on tyranny, because I really believe if we get through to the 20th without a tyrant one way or another, it'll be amazing. Basically, I think where this all ends up is in the opening intro of my first video in episode 1. I put exactly how I thought it would end up. Now, the reason you go and watch it, but that intro I put together because of my contacts, ex-CIA, there. Ex-CIA guys that told me. We had these discussions of what happens with Trump, and what I was told, and now I'm kicking myself because they all fucking left leaning guys, and I said, I was reassured that don't worry, this all gets handled. It all gets handled politically. All the forces are moving. This is all going to be handled democratically, and it'll be done through normal democratic processes. He's going to be impeached. Basically, the left's going to win the House, and I was assured of all of this shit. So I said, I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't believe he's going to get impeached. I don't, basically the House is not going to sweep. You know as well as I do that the elections get hacked. And so I said, I don't believe the scenario. I said, what happens when all this shit fails? And then they said, well, there's a plan in place for that too. And I pushed and pushed and pushed. And I said, what is the plan? Is it the normal one that Kennedy plan? And he said, yes. And so I said, basically, okay, give me the details. How's it done? Is it done like de Gaulle, Are we going to do a little, ID? And I said, no, it's already in plan. How it works is they basically, he says, I can't give you the details, but I said, well, I said, well, how does it work? Because if you take out the first one, Pence could be worse. And I was told, Pence is probably worse, but the plan is take them both down at the same time, and Pelosi takes control. So I said, okay, how the fuck do you do that? That is a real magnificent trick to pull off. And basically I said, do you do it like de Gaulle? Basically de Gaulle had fucking 74. I can't remember, but almost 100 assassination attempts. It was, Sophie, you would know. How many attempts did de Gaulle have in his life? Oh, you mute. You mute. You muted.
No, I don't know how many, but there was a lot. Yeah.
There was like 74. It was like the movies are like The Day of the Jackal. It's very, very hard. It's very, very hard to take a guy, but a lot of the ones to take out de Gaulle were bombs. They used a lot of bombs under the road,
Yeah.
But it's exceptionally difficult to take one of these guys out. You can do it with a drone or something really easy, but to actually do it in a liberal democracy, so I didn't rate. So I said, "What's the plan?" And I said, "Well, I can't tell you." But I said, "Okay." Did the usual thing where I say, "Just guess, and take it." If you read my book, you know what you do. Say, "I'll give you some scenarios." And it's the drinking game. And if I get the right one, take a sip of your drink. And basically I said, okay, from a distance, Full Metal Jacket, and took a drink. So then based on that, I put that in the first, on the strength of that, I put it in the first video, because I thought, well, one or two things happens. Either my source is all full of shit, in which case, no harm done. I just got a crazy intro. But otherwise, if he turns out to be right, then the intro to my video sounds like genius. Like how did you predict that? So I thought it was safe to put it in and go and have a look at it. But that's what I believe Trump's heading for. It's just a question how quickly. I don't believe that you can put together something that quick. So I wouldn't expect that this week. I don't believe that the plans for that, I mean, I'm not in touch with this, but I get no hint that the plans for that kind of thing are very advanced. So what I anticipate is that Trump's liable to, if it all pans out the way I think it would be, it's Trump's liable to declare martial law, and then a slow insurrection starts. So basically a slow burn insurrection. So basically, they have to clear the streets and send a strong message that you don't do Occupy Wall Street. Those days are over. And the police want revenge, right? You see, everybody's so focused on Floyd and stuff like that, they forget that those fuckers want revenge. They hate the public. They hate the public. And they've got scores to settle. And the guys in the police have been so restrained all over Seattle, all these guys. They've been spat in the face. They had to take it and take it and take it. And they are at their limit. And I'm telling you, they want to let loose on a crowd. They are dying to let a crowd taste lead. They've had to be restrained for so long, and the liberal left has not noticed it because they're so in with their own shit and police brutality. They haven't thought of what it's like to be a policeman. The police want revenge. And basically, they're going to be allowed to do it as soon as there's martial law. So basically, you're in deep shit. Okay, so here's this chapter, 18. There's advice from this book on tyranny. 18. Be calm when the unthinkable arrives. And this is where I think we're at. And if I'm completely full of shit, well, it's out here on video, and you can always go back and say, Hugh, do you remember at Sunday the 10th when you spouted all that shit that never happened? It's like, shut the fuck up. And I'd go, mea culpa, dude, I'm sorry. I am full of shit. I'll never open my mouth again. But I'm telling you the way I read it, because I've got nothing to gain. It's just like, I just need to put this out to you because it's just so damn serious. Anyway, so it says, be calm when the unthinkable arrives. Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, remember that sorry, I'll read this again. Modern tyranny is terror management. When the terrorist attack comes, now this is what happened on Wednesday. This is what they were anticipating in 2017, the guys who gave me this book. Remember that authoritarians exploit such events in order to consolidate power. And I think that's what we're going to see next, right? We're going to see a deliberate mayhem on the streets and chaos that gives Trump the excuse to consolidate power in the interests of restoring law and order. The sudden disaster that requires the end of checks and balances, which is here, the dissolution of opposition parties, the suspension of freedom of expression, the right to a fair trial, and so on, is the oldest trick in the Hitlerian book. Do not fall for it. Well, I'm afraid everybody's going to fall for it. There's no ways that where we're at psychologically, all the bullshit, the self-delusion and stuff means that everybody is going to go with this. The left is liable to go out on the streets and stuff. They just haven't done their history, and now comes basically the exam. And I'm telling you that this crowd is going to flunk the exam. So the Reichstag fire was the moment when Hitler's government, which came to power mainly through democratic means, became the menacingly permanent Nazi regime. So I think Wednesday has if it's not the Reichstag fire, the Reichstag fire is coming this week. It is the archetype of terror management. Okay, and that's where I think we're at. So, yeah, what I would recommend if you left wing and wondering what the hell to do, or if you like Occupy or an anarchist or something like that, is now I've got to be really, really careful. Okay, there's not a lot. Think it through. There's not a lot of upside to going down to Washington, right? We're outgunned, we're outprepared. It would play to Trump, right? Basically, the more there spectaculars on the streets in Washington, the more it plays into his hands and gives him the right to assume law and order. I don't think anybody can rely, I mean, given the fact that it looks like security is compromised, I don't think anybody can rely on, the cavalry coming in. I don't think, I was misled. The guys that I talked to are not as powerful as I thought. We're not seeing a response from the FBI. We saw the head of security was fired, head of security for the Capitol. That's just a token thing, because basically they have to do that because he was clearly in on it. But according to Michael Moore, they're basically 1/5 of the staff on a crucial day when security was probably at the most the Capitol has had to face. They sent 4/5 of the security staff home. So that means the government is thoroughly compromised. So there's no cavalry. So what to do about it? Well,
but why did they send them home? What was the they sent 4/5 of the staff on Wednesday home?
Yeah, have a look at Michael Moore's video.
Oh yeah, no, I just Michael Moore gives me a headache, so I don't go to the end usually of his things. I don't know why, but I didn't listen to all that. But
according to him, I imagine he's pretty well informed by the grapevine, is that he says that they were understaffed by 4/5. It was a put-up job. It's basically if all of these things are true, it's a complete put-up job. It was a coup from the inside, and the left wing. You see, this is why I get conspiratorial, because if they're shutting down opposition, and they're shutting down the calls for the left to rally, it means that it's possible that the mainstream media are in on it. Basically, it means not particularly the media outlets, but the corporate media. So basically, it means that basically the multinational social media companies are in on it, on the wrong side. It's possible. Because
so a double bluff.
What?
A double bluff in relation to the mainstream media.
Yeah, because you see, that's kind of what I mean. You see, I have no basis of fact to say that, except you can imagine a scenario where they start banning people, shutting them down for hate speech and stuff like that. But it's a very subtle thing, because what they're doing is shutting down opposition to martial law. In effect, they're stopping basically the Paul Revere riding out and the troops coming in. So they're stopping counter-revolutionaries on the basis that, no, we're just stopping violence and hate speech, and we're doing the right thing. So in doing the right thing, they can stop the public coming out against a compromised government. And I think that is a very possible scenario that I'm not the media. The media I have grave doubts about, but I have no trust at all in the big multinational social media companies. If there is a big coup, if somebody says they're in it, it's like, well, fuck, there's no surprise. So I can well see a scenario where they start doing the first sweeps of the Kristallnacht, the Night of the Long Knives, and when they start at the top of the list and they start suppressing everybody, the very first things might look like good guys trying to do the right thing and just shutting down all the people that might oppose this. So that basically Michael Moore and stuff might go, if Michael Moore gets shut down, if you see some trumped up, fucked up excuse that Michael Moore is taken offline, that's a very, very bad sign. Basically, anybody that's getting it yeah, if they find some obscure fucking reason and they trump up something, like they take you down like Roger Hallam. Remember how Roger Hallam was taken down in Germany by Der Spiegel? They just went and Roger Hallam is a bit too much of a naif. He's not savvy enough. I mean, he's a fucking organic farmer. He's well out of his depth. And so Spiegel comes in. He doesn't know how this is how the game is played. And basically, he talks to a Spiegel reporter, and the Spiegel reporter has one aim: bring Roger Hallam down in Germany. Easy as pie. Basically say, what do you think about the fucking Holocaust? Roger Hallam falls right into their trap, and then bam, Roger Hallam's out of Germany, out of exile. Just in one sentence. So if you see that happening, you see Michael Moore taken down that way. Basically, clear, obvious smear hits, cancel culture comes in and takes off their heads, and you think, hey, well, but hang on, Michael Moore's a good guy. It's like, no, now he's a bad guy. Basically, if you see that kind of thing, then you know that we're in big trouble from the deep conspiracy theory. But we're not there yet. They're taking down QAnon guys and stuff like that. So it's hopeless. It's closing the door before after the horse is bolted. But that's we'll have to see how that unfolds. But if I had to say, if you are like a concerned person that wants to do something now, I would say we kind of lost the battle for the capital already. It's basically it's too star-crossed at this stage to actually really go down to Washington. But I think I imagine the kind of other scenario, which is the other places, other places, not Washington, right?
Yeah.
The other places you can go. You remember Micah White? Does anybody remember Micah White?
No.
No.
Micah White started Occupy Wall Street. Wall Street. Right?
Oh. Yes.
Yeah. And he was very close to the mother lode. So imagine that this weird fucking scenario, that we had super intelligent people on the left and not fucking dipshits. And we had leadership on the left and all sorts of shit that basically has been flushed down the toilet of liberalism and fucking ID poll and just basically liberalism and egocentrism. Imagine this weird thing, this thing elsewhere. Let's imagine there's this planet elsewhere. And on this planet elsewhere, I'll tell you what happened. There's a story that came from the planet elsewhere. And what happened on elsewhere, if I remember this, is a weird situation like this unfolded. Now, all the white people went down to the Capitol to do a bit of theater. Now, all the other people, the black people, let's call them, they weren't dumb enough to go down there and create the scene that allows for martial law. They avoided the Umfalos, right? They didn't go to the Capitol. They went to the nest of the beasts. They went on this planet elsewhere to the commercial center, and they avoided these other pricks. You see, if you're seen to be black against white, they win. Trump wins. It's basically Charlottesville. It basically says, it's a race war. I need to help you guys out. You need me. I'm restoring law and order. Then basically it appeals to the middle class. What happened on elsewhere was they saw this kind of thing happening. So they said, okay, we'll do a bit of apartheid. We'll stay out of the path of the white guys, and we will go and take a rearguard action at the nest of the beasts. Now this is a little bit different because you've got now it works to say on the media, look at the difference. If you're black, you get shot. Look what happens to the white guy. That's a different thing. See, if the black guys are all on the, at the head of the, basically at the center of the beast, really taking bullets, and the other guys are basically being shown into the inner offices inside the Capitol building, everyone gets it. It's a fucking setup job. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Yep.
So that's what I would recommend is we go back and do a little rerun of Michael White's plan. But now, cut the crap. Cut the bullshit. No more than Mr. Nice Guy. Okay? That's not an option anymore. But now think it through. Imagine all these, let's call it our side on the planet elsewhere. Imagine that they are doing tit for tat right in the belly of the beast, where the bull, right in the belly of the beast, we had a bull. It was a big brass bull, big horns right there, stood right in the middle of the street. That place. If they did tit for tat in that place, that's different. Because whatever they do in the other place, it squeezes the fucking our masters who actually live around that bull, it squeezes their nuts. And they're going to be on the phone saying, cut this crap, the markets are collapsing. Does that make any sense?
We have this perfect situation for your scenario is the COVID situation. And people are completely petrified of assembly.
Yeah.
And that is a big, on the game of chess, that is the...
Well, my view of
that's
it...
the biggest problem. We can't checkmate.
Yeah, with the COVID thing, my view of it is if people are willing to wear masks and go shopping, they can wear masks and go, on planet elsewhere to the pole.
Think of that. So if that, basically, you in London, you're not allowed to wear a mask because the surveillance cameras in normal times. Now you have to wear a mask. Well, fuck, it really is a kind of a gift. If you go and get an anonymous mask now, and basically you say you're obeying the law, it really is a gift. So let's be sensible here. The pandemic is real. It's fucking brutal. So you got to take precautions, right? You've got to be seen to be taking precautions. Make it such that basically we say everyone on our side does, security, and security, part of security culture is security against the virus.
Yeah, and another thing, a cut bullshit rallying call is, of course, with the pandemic, the nearly 400,000 have died is because, the government wanted to keep business going well. Simply, they caused all those people to die because they wanted their money. So on elsewhere, let's go to the bull and squeeze their balls for revenge. It's that simple. Money over people. That's this whole fucking system. Money over people. So let's put people over money.
Yeah. Basically, as they put pressure on the capital, the bull gets its balls squeezed. Yeah.
But what is your read on how the Saint Elsewhere non-white denizens are interpreting everything that's going on? Like you said before, a lot of people are just saying, oh, look at that. White people stormed the Capitol, nothing was done. But if it were us, it's only down to that level. I don't think there's any, I'm politically naive. I don't know how the non-white Saint Elsewhere denizens are looking at this. Is there even a consciousness about that the root of all evil is that golden bull?
There's not, but it's, well, there isn't. there's a general awareness that basically, well, yeah, it's probably even better than the white folk. But the strategy of going down and squeezing the bull is a big ask, because you see, what the black folk know is the police are shoot to kill. You know, white folk don't know that yet. They're about to find that out.
Yeah.
Now, I think the black folk have an advantage because they don't have any shit in their brains. They don't have any leadership. But if the word goes out, dude, every time shit goes down in Washington, we squeeze the bull's balls. They'll get it fucking quick. So there's also basically, there's a lot of, black people around the bull in the local environs that are basically a tube train away or walking away from that local environment where the bull lives. So the word could quickly get out and spread that that's the game plan, and then basically I think black people have an advantage because they know the game and they can measure it. You see, it becomes a game of seeing how far you can go before you take a bullet. They need provocation to open fire, and black guys are far more attuned to know when a cop is about to open fire than white people. White people are going to be fucking amazed. It's going to be Princeton all over again. What was it? No, Berkeley. Basically, they're going to be shocked. Oh, you're on our side. You can't shoot us. That's what's going to happen to white people. Black people are going, dude. Not only can they shoot you, they will.
Yeah, it's because
black people are ahead of the game in terms of psychology.
Yeah, it's because I think like most like upper working class people are, completely naive to who the police really serve. It's like, it's not just white people, it's rich white people that the police protect, the rich fuckers, not them. Because it's the thing is with the liberals seeing the, the performance in Washington, it's like, oh crap, where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought.
They think it's all ID poll and stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's where I was going. Yeah, they think it's all ID poll. Yeah, and it's not. No, the existence of class in this country has pretty much been completely erased. Class consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the racism bit in the ID poll, but there's no division between rich and poor because, like you said in your escape by getting rich video, Americans generally believe, oh, I'm going to be that guy someday.
Yeah, that viewpoint is going to be challenged.
yeah, for sure.
Well, guys, I've laid out exactly what I think, and now I'm put my cards on the table, so you'll get to see quickly whether I'm full of shit.
And now we're going to have nightmares for about 10 days.
So what I would suggest is the best cure for nightmares is to get out and do something.
Yeah, I know.
It's basically channel all that energy into revenge. So there's so much opportunity. We've got all the skills. We know how to navigate social media without getting instantly shut down. We know how to dog whistle, getting people roused up. You got all the skills. You basically get your frustrations by going around the house and seeing seeing if you can light a spark.
Yep.
Yeah, it would be a bit too tiring to cross the Atlantic for me at this stage.
No. Everything's virtual. None of that's necessary. Everything's virtual. You see, stay. You see, okay, for everybody else, if anybody sees this video, doesn't matter where you are in the world. This is the whole thing that I'm trying to be telling XR and stuff, is get off the streets. This is going to be fought in cyberspace. Basically, the state actors have been fighting in cyberspace for 2 decades. This war is first online. It'll eventually get to the streets. Well, I mean, it's going to get to the streets this week because basically the guys are going to learn, get a little a little learning experience. But after their little learning experience, there's going to be a freeze. And this is the scenario that I'm telling you from South Africa. Is basically they're going to put a real chill on everything. What happens during that chill period is everybody gets over their shock and mortification. They suddenly get over the fact that there really are conspiracy theories and they're fucking in the middle of Auschwitz. And then they start basically planning. A few good salts who are egoless and fucking have a conscience, they start planning the resistance. And then it starts warming up slowly. But when that comes back, the streets will be empty. They have to start online. So we already know this game, and we can start straight away online. We're not going to change the world. We're not going to intervene in this. This is kind of, there's too much momentum behind this already. But we can hone our skills for what comes next.
Yeah, practice.
Yeah. This is a practice run for us. So